Hey there, it's Juju, and it's day 403 of this administration, and I'm going to be talking about documentaries, specifically short, Oscar-nominated short documentaries, which right now in some theaters, if you're lucky, you can see them in theaters. Some of these short documentaries are streaming, others are not available unless you see them as the package. I highly recommend it. I love documentaries because they show you a world that you may think you know, but you really don't. Some of these are on Netflix, so I'm going to talk about those. All the Empty Rooms, check that out on Netflix. It is a journalist and a photojournalist going to the rooms of all of the children who have been killed in mass shootings in the U.S. And it's hard to see, but it's really powerful because you can become numb because there's so many school shootings. And how we continue to allow this to happen is a shame. And I think that this approaches it from a different angle. It's really interesting. On HBO Max, which I don't have, is Armed Only with a Camera, The Life and Death of Brent Renaud. And I didn't know who Brent Renaud was, but he and his brother were journalists and videographers that went into war zones all over the world. It's a very graphic documentary with footage of him, his life, his death, his funeral. He was killed in the Ukraine, and it talks about how journalists are being targeted and how we wouldn't know what was going on if it wasn't for these brave journalists. And so highly recommend that documentary. It was very moving. And again, these are all 20 minutes, very short. The Devil is Busy is also on HBO Max, and this shows the head of security at a abortion clinic in Atlanta. And it also is pretty shocking in terms of seeing where we are with women's health care and people trying to get health care, not people, women trying to get health care. And it's pretty shocking and interesting to see. It gives you a unique perspective of the staff of the clinic, of the protesters. And so I highly recommend it. Again, none of these are easy, but they're really important topics. Another one that is so moving, and you can only see it in the theaters at this point, is Children No More Were and Are Gone. And this is about protesters in Israel who are doing silent protests about the thousands and thousands of children that have been killed in Gaza. And so they sit with photos of the children in silence. And this is during the time that the many Israelis were rightly concerned about getting the hostages home, but not so concerned about these children being killed. It's a very powerful, moving, and you can see both sides. It was eye-opening to me to see how many of the Israelis reacted to these peaceful protesters and, their feeling. And it's a very charged issue. Highly recommend the documentary. And then the last one is called Perfectly a Strangeness. And this, again, is not available, I don't think, unless you see it in a theater. And this it's an interesting documentary because there's first of all, no humans in it, no dialogue. It's just these three donkeys at this kind of abandoned observatory, but it's beautifully filmed. And I think it gives you a lot of themes of, nature against, technology. And so I highly recommend, if you can, seeing the Oscar-nominated shorts, also the live action shorts and the animated shorts. They're all great. So this is like the top of filmmaking, so I highly recommend it. This is Juju, unfiltered, unscripted, lead with love. And going to a movie theater now, they're empty. So you've got the big screen and it's really comfortable, and they may be going out of business. So support a local theater.